Hello, everyone. It is Friday, and I am coming to you live and in color from LA. This is Pam Esquire, also known as your law intellect. I am in the lobby of this hotel, so it might get a little loud. And I'm also on this whack HP, so the color may not be the best, but at least you can hear me. I hope you guys are having a great day. Hey, CBBJ. Hey, Miss Renee. Hey, Renee Edwards. Chad Guy. Hey. Tasha Malinga. Good evening. Right, California. Yeah, West Coast. I know it's a little late. I'm so tired of hearing videos. Everybody's like, you look so tired. I'm like, I'm not. This is 3 hours. 3 hours is a big difference. I never really even looked at it like that. But like when we got out of court at 4, it's already 7 on the East Coast. So if I go and I go eat, spend time with the family. By the time I settle down at 8, 9 o'clock, it's already midnight on the East Coast. So, yeah. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Miss V. Hey, Alice, St. James, Jeff. Good evening to everybody. Good evening and almost good morning. Shoot, on the East Coast. Hope you guys enjoyed your day. I am here, as you know, in part 5 of the Tory Lanez trial, just to keep you guys informed. I was sitting on the front row taking my meticulous notes today. Hey, Sabrina, and welcome to all my new subscribers. We have hit 3,000 subbies. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to you guys liking and sharing and all that good stuff. I thank you guys so much. So, yeah, we got a little bit to cover here. And Tasha said, yes, the 3 difference hour makes the days long. Yes, I'm like exhausted. And then I was wondering why I still kept getting up at 4 in the morning. I don't think people understand that. Like, I used to get up at 7 at home. So I still was getting up at 4, and I'm just kind of looking around, twiddling my fingers. Of course, I still have work to do. I got plenty of work to do this weekend, because now I have to make up for all of the work that I didn't do this week, being nosy at this darn trial like I was the one trying it or something. You know how many times I want to jump up and say objection? Do I still have to ID yourself when I'm in court there? That court lets you have computers, and they say it on there that they want to see your ID, so I took mine out. But then after the first day, I just went on through. And then I had a little media pass or whatever. My YouTube channel, I'm like, it's the next up and coming media. So I had a media pass for the trial. So yeah. So yep. I did get, let me see if I could share my screen here. I got a little bit of footage today. I wasn't going to show any footage because all the footage that I have that I've been able to get, Tory has been with his son. So I didn't really want to put kids out there like that. You know what I'm saying? But then I realized he was going to have that kid every single time. So I'm never going to be able to show any of my videos if that's the case. So yeah. Let me see if I could.
Tory, how you feel today, brother? How you feel? How you feel today? I'm blessed.
So as y'all see, there goes Tory coming out today after a long day, another long day of trial. And I'm gonna play it again. You see, he needs to leave the boy at home. Shit, he ain't leaving that boy at home.
How you feel today, brother? How you feel?
Alex. You guys.
How you feel today? I'm blessed.
As y'all see, there go Armand Wiggins. If you guys know, content creators. Armand Wiggins was there today. It was a couple of other content creators that was like, hey, we might as well just show up. You said, dang, his son bigger than him. I just had to show y'all how short he was. I was bless his heart. Bless his heart. And in school. Please, y'all, like, share, subscribe. Anyway, let me get to it. See, I really was there. Y'all see the video. I ain't faking the funk. I'm not taking nobody else's content, acting like I'm there. Your girl actually flew. I think Armand Wiggins told me, he was like, girl, you got to be real nosy if you done flew from Michigan to come here to watch this trial. I was like, no, I just want to know firsthand because everybody says different things and I want to know the truth. We want to know the truth. That's all. The way I see it, just in case he does go away for a long time, he probably wants to spend as much time with my kid as possible if I were in his shoes, because he won't be. But he's not spending time with him. Like, I see what you're saying, Trad Guy Travels. I get what you're saying, but he's not really spending time. He's in court. Like, the little boy is either in the cafeteria or in the hallway with people. He's not really like, I mean, he's in court. He can't really spend time with him, while he's in court. So, yeah. So, I just want to recap a little bit. So, yesterday, like I said, I thought the cross-examination of Kelsey Harris, he had done very well before lunch. But what happened is, after lunch, he came back and, he was trying to establish certain things. One of the things he tried to establish is, of course, that Tory Lanez, the defense team, nobody from Tory Lanez camp, excuse me, nobody talked to Kelsey. Nobody tried to bribe her. Nobody pressured her. That was the big thing they were trying to establish yesterday. The problem with that was that when they were trying to establish, they almost said, so are you saying the prosecution pressured you? You felt like it was the prosecution that put the pressure on you? So what the prosecution did was say, well, now, defense attorney, you've opened the door now. Because before, we were hearing little snippets. So Kelsey would get on the stand and say, you know what? When it comes to Meg, I know everything. But when it comes to Tory, I don't remember. I don't recall. I don't know. I was drunk. I was too drunk. I honestly just don't remember. I honestly just don't know. Oh, my goodness, I have amnesia. That's how she was on the stand. And you can tell it was the difference because it would seem like she only was like that with Tory, right? So the prosecution said, oh, no, you can't get away with that. So they asked the judge, well, since, it wasn't into evidence, right? Like, none of the video was in the evidence. It was just used to refresh her recollection. This music just got super loud. How rude. They having a whole party in here. I think they having a party upstairs. But they were, so basically the judge took it under advisement and said, you know what? Since they opened the door, you get to play the whole video. So today we actually heard the entire video of the interview of Kelsey. And when I tell you, they're going to get me. This music being on my video, this is just rude. Just rude. They said that they were going to play the whole video, which is what they did. And it was very credible. That's all I can say. She might have lied earlier, but it definitely sounded like she wasn't lying when she went to the people 2 months before. Let me see if I can find a quieter spot. You can't hear the music? Okay, because this music is like they are getting it in. Do you hear me? So anyways, James said he can hear it. Let me know if it's too much, because then I'll just have to go outside or something. But yeah, so anyways, they started out, and the video, she came in there with her spouse. She had two attorneys that were on the phone. So there wasn't any, we're ambushing you, we're trying to talk to you by yourself, you need to be terrified. None of that. Like, it wasn't any of that was going on, because that was initially, like, in the beginning, before they recorded, they made sure that they put that on the record. And so she said she met Meg in college in freshman year. She said in about 2018-19, until the incident, Kelsey became her assistant. They were staying together or whatever at LA. She said Kylie called her, and Kylie called Meg and asked them to hang out at her house. Kylie Jenner, that is. And so Meg, Kelsey, and EJ went over to Kylie's house. Meg says she's gonna cook nachos. Kylie and while they were there, Kris Jenner's husband or boyfriend, whoever he is, he was there. Odell Beckham was there. Odell Beckham had him a friend that was there with him. It was, she said, about 9 people that was there. So they're all over there. They're all in the pool. And while they were in the pool or whatever, Kelsey comes back and said, "You guys having fun without me?" So, not Kelsey, I'm sorry. Meg says, "You guys are having fun without me," while she was cooking. So she goes into the pool with them, right? She stops cooking and she goes in the pool. Yeah, get the bots. It's bots on here. So if you can catch those, that'd be great. To the mods. And so something happened where I guess Kelsey says she's in the hot tub. She said Meg and Tory were basically in the pool with Kylie. Incident happened where Meg was laughing obnoxiously, so they knew something was wrong. Kelsey got up. Kelsey had passed out before Tory came. So what also came out was apparently Meg FaceTimed Tory and some other people and told them to come over to Kylie's house. So that's how Tory got there. Tory wasn't there when they first got there. So then Kelsey gets so drunk, she basically falls out. She gets up. She goes. She sees that Tory and them are there. EJ sees that I guess Megan is acting a little obnoxious or whatever. Somehow they decide. EJ goes up, packs all their clothes, tell them it's time to go. Meg says, "I don't want to go." Kelsey goes, tells Meg it's time to go. Meg still says she don't want to go. They end up putting all the bags, because EJ packed their bags. They end up putting all the bags into EJ's car, and then somehow it became where they were gonna go with Tory's driver, Quan. So then they move all the bags over there to Tory's driver, to Quan's car, and they go into Quan's car. So then they get in the car. Megan says that she left a Louis Vuitton slipper at Kylie's house. And so she wants to turn around and leave. But Kelsey says she believes Meg just wanted to go back and check on Kylie and Tory, because Tory was flirting with Kylie. So they flirting with each other and all of that good stuff. So they turn around. They go back to Kylie's house. Quan follows Meg. Meg and Tory gets into an argument, I guess, inside of the home. Quan comes back and says Kylie told them that they can't come there anymore because they was arguing inside the house. So they get in the car. That's when you get Tory basically saying to Meg, they start arguing. Tory says, "Why didn't you tell your homegirl, about us," basically. And they continue to argue. He start calling Meg all type of names. So Kelsey says, "Well, that's my homegirl, so I'm trying to intervene." And so she comes in and said, "Don't be talking to my homegirl like that." So that's when Tory kept saying, "Well, she ain't really a good friend, because hey, we was kicking it basically. How you was kicking it with me, and now we kicking it." So then they turn around and arguing ensues again. So then Meg says, "I want to get up out this joint." Meg pulls over. They on Santa Monica Boulevard. She jumps out the car in a bikini. Tory goes and talks to her, makes it all good. They go back to the car. Everything's calm. And then somehow arguing ensues again. Then allegedly, I guess, Tory says, "Get these bitches and hoes up out of my car." Excuse my language. They turn around and Meg gets out her car because she's in the front. Well, gets out the car. She's in the front seat. Kelsey says she steps out of the back passenger side of whatever, and she hears gunshots. When she hears the gunshot, she says she's standing between the car opening and being on the inside of the car. And she said that Meg was like, she said she noticed that Tory now somehow was in the front passenger seat where Meg was before she got out of the car. He had reached over, the door was still open, according to Kelsey. He reached over the car door and she saw him shoot. So she first heard 2 to 3 shots, then she heard 2 more shots, and she saw him shoot. Meg turned around, looked like a deer in headlights. She went over, I guess, to sit down on the ground somewhere. She goes to sit on the ground. Kelsey comes to see, I guess Tory goes to check on Meg. Kelsey didn't want him, to go over to Meg, so she go to check on her friend, try to get in between them. And then I guess Kelsey and Tory gets into a fight. So that's how she had broken nails. She had jewelry that was ripped off and on the floor. She had all this different stuff that happened to her. So then she said Quan comes, picks her up, and kind of moves her away like a rag doll. So then that's when Kelsey goes back in the car. When she goes in the car, she goes in the car, and once she gets into the car, she says she wants to still stop Tory. So she acts like she's going to run him over or something, like she moves the car so it can jerk, and it scared Tory. So Tory comes to the car. It did stop him from going to Meg, but he came to the car and dragged her, I guess, by her hair out of the vehicle. All this drama, nobody done called 911 in their camp. Apparently some other people did, because they heard gunshots. So they didn't even call 911. All them get in the car. Quan said, everybody get in the car, everybody get in the car, everybody get in the car. So they get in the car, and while they're driving, well, let me back up. Kelsey said before Meg was shot, Tory had threatened her. Tory had told her when they were arguing, basically, I'll shoot you or whatever, and act like he was reaching in the console, but he didn't pick up anything out of the console. So then she said, well, if it's time for me to die, then it's time for me to die. And she said, but just know people gonna come after you if something happened to me. So then he basically was making it like, I'm from Canada, y'all. I'm a gangster. And so, yeah. So that happened before the shooting even happened. I was like, what? He a gangster from Canada? I said, what? I've never heard that before. So anyways, fast forward. They driving in the car. This after the shooting. This all in the video today, y'all. We know verbatim timeline. Kelsey gave a timeline. So they driving down the street. The police is behind them. So Quan up the police behind me. So he pulled over and let the police pass him. But by the time that happened, helicopters came. They said police was everywhere. Sirens was going on. She was saying she was scared because it was around George Floyd. So she told the lady police officer, please, ma'am, don't put your knee in my back, because they all got, ended up being told to get out of the car one by one. So at the end of the day, Meg went to the hospital. Kelsey and Tory was locked up. They were in handcuffs and they went to jail. Kelsey said she was basically there all day, but she didn't spend the night before she got out. Of course, we all know Tory was still there. So then she said, Tory, that's when we heard the phone calls of, she said around that time, that's when Tory, once she got out, Tory called her and asked her where Meg was, and was profusely apologizing. We heard that video the other day. She was like, he was profusely apologizing for everything and said he was drunk and out of his mind and da da da. So then she basically goes on to say that she had moved her whole life to move. She's from Houston. She had given up her whole apartment. She had given up her apartment so that she could move to LA to be with Meg and be her assistant. So she's staying at the Airbnb. So she's sitting outside the hospital, Kelsey, waiting to find out information about Meg, but she can't find nothing about Meg. Like, nobody's telling her anything. So nobody's giving her any information. Everybody's being super secretive. And so she's like, well, what's going on? Why is everybody ghosting me? So she ends up finding out, finally gets a conversation. She texts and says, well, if she heard Meg was going to be down for a year, she wasn't going to be able to work or do anything. That's what her camp told her, told Kelsey. Megan's camp told Kelsey, well, she's going to be down. She can't walk for at least a year. That's the first time she really heard from them. So she texted them and said, well, I'm thinking about just going back to Houston. Do y'all know they sent that girl flight information immediately for 2 hours later and told her to get on a plane and go back to Houston like now? So Kelsey was like, I wasn't thinking that fast. I'd have moved all the way down here. Like, all my stuff is here. So she says, she calls him and is like, what's the rush? Why am I moving? I done moved my whole life down here. I don't have a place to go. Like, I sublet out my house. She said, she called them and they was like, okay, well, whatever. So she ended up taking her stuff to a hotel. She still don't really know what's going on. Nobody's really talking to her, blah, blah, blah. And then I guess Megan calls her and tell her, I'll pay for you a year to be in a hotel. I mean, not a hotel, but to get you an apartment. Like, I'll get you an apartment. You can stay there for a year. And she was like, so that's kind of how that went. But they never really talked that much after that. So then I guess fast forward, Meg was going to put out a statement about all this whole incident, right? And so Meg contacted Kelsey and said, hey, do you want me to include you into this statement? Kelsey said, yes, I would love for you to include me in the statement. And Meg put out the statement and didn't include her at all. So she's at the DA's office and she's showing her phone and stuff. And she's like, I can pull up what the statement is. Text message. She didn't even include me. She wasn't protecting me. People are online saying that I did it. I didn't do anything. She said, and I feel like she didn't protect me like she was supposed to. So then she said she felt like she had to protect herself. So she put out a statement. And Meg didn't like the statement she put out, was like, hey, like, why didn't you run this by me type of a deal? So then she said Meg kept putting out little statements here and there that seemed vague on who the shooter was. So that started and created a whole lot of issues as well, because Meg wasn't like dispelling the fact that she was the shooter. So she felt like Meg was allowing people to drag her. She said, I've been in hiding. I can't go anywhere. She said, I was in a dollar store and somebody cornered me, accusing me of shooting Meg. I don't like to go places. I'm an influencer. And when I have events, I don't even want to go to these events because it takes me an hour to get out of the vehicle because I have to basically woosah so that I can get out. She said, I just fear for my life and my protection. And then she said Meg's camp also got pissed off at her because Meg called her and said, why don't you go out and tell the people on social media what really happened? And so she said, well, I talked to my attorney and my attorney told me that it's no need for me to say anything, that we don't litigate things in the media, and said, you said you weren't pressing charges anyway, so it's no need for me. So apparently Meg must have said she's never going to press charges. And so they felt like it wasn't a need for her to go out and basically tell her story. So Kelsey, when she talked to the prosecutor, she was relaxed. She said, I just want to tell my truth. I need to get it off my chest. She cried like during various points. She was very emotional. They had to stop not stop it because we could hear it, but they stopped the interview to go get her tissue and all of that and whatnot. And then towards the end, she said, well, how does this trial thing work? So she told her, and she basically talked about being protected. And the DA was like, well, we could talk about if you require protection for testifying or whatever after we get off of this air. And it was just like that. She was very matter of fact. She went through every single step. And this was literally September of 2022. So that's just to let you know that something had happened in the last 90 days of which she basically doesn't want to say anything. She doesn't want to be here. She doesn't want to be there. She don't remember. She don't recall. She lied. That's why she needs immunity. Yeah. So that's that. So that was that testimony from her. See if y'all got any questions up in here, aside from the fact that it's a big ghetto. I know that's what y'all thinking. You said all this while music moguls making trillions off of our dysfunction. That is true. What part of Canada? I don't know. Cause I'm from Detroit, Canada, right across the way, and I don't recall no gangsters when I was over there. So, oh God. Thank you for hanging with us. I'm over here in California, so it ain't as late. Ghetto trash. See, this is why Hollywood ain't. Y'all right. Daniel said Kelsey is a liar. Hey. Okay. He said, how did the jury seem taking this off? Somebody said they seemed annoyed. I think the video, they were very attentive to the video. They had a transcript, so they were going page by page, reading it as they were saying it. So I think it became obvious. Like, to me, it kind of bolstered the prosecution as if you changed your testimony, because clearly something didn't happen between now and then. I ain't gonna speculate as to what that something is, but listen, I ain't saying that, and I'm just waiting on the. So then after they played that video, my goodness, y'all. Oh, she also, in the video, it also showed when Kelsey Kelsey said he apologized. She mentioned that she had to meet up with Tory to go get her belongings. So when she went to go meet up with Tory to get her belongings, she said that they were in the, he apologized again, but he said he offered them $1 million a piece, or he asked her, well, do you want to work for me? Do you want to be a part of my business? Whatever. He was basically offering her stuff or whatnot. So yeah. Let me see what else in my. It was so much stuff in that video, because it's all, a lot of the stuff, of course, is repetitive, just because we know the prosecution played snippets of this, because they were showing that it was she was basically, she needed to refresh her recollection. So it wasn't into evidence. They were just trying to refresh her recollection, because she was saying she don't know nothing. She don't know. She don't know. She don't know. So I think the big thing people were talking about was today, they had DNA experts that came on. They also had a gun expert that came on. So the gun expert, he basically, I think, was dispelling the rumors of that it was a struggle and the gun just was going off rumor, because he was saying that it was a 9mm. He said what the name was, and he was letting us know that type of gun, you had to have 8 pounds of pressure in order to pull the trigger. He went through the whole steps of what happens when you pull the trigger, and that it's a semi-automatic, it's not an automatic. So he did the difference between a semi-automatic and an automatic, and was basically talking about the pressure needed. So you have to intentionally pull the trigger, is basically what he was saying. So that was what his big thing was. He also said the defense on cross was trying to establish that the bullet, the casings, I'm sorry, there's a pattern. So you know how you see like the pictures and they have the placards of where they find the casings. He was saying that the pattern does not tell where a person was standing. Because what I think they were trying to establish is somebody in that house. It could have happened over there. It could have happened here. We don't know where it happened. But he was like, no, the pattern happens. You don't really know where it falls. He said it can actually, you might get a shell casing almost 18 feet away, just by guess. He said, and then the shell casing can go to the right and go to the left and go in front of you. So there's no patterns, does not really show where a person is standing. So that was kind of one of the major things. He also said that he tested the gun that they received that was involved in this event. He did the testing to show that those casings came from that gun. So they go through the patterns and the grooves and the lines and all that good stuff. So then we had the criminologist who basically looked at the DNA on the gun magazine and on the actual gun. And on the gun magazine, he said that there were 4 people's DNA mixed on there. He said, but he can only tell that one of them was a male. He doesn't know what the other 3 are. And that's just because they found the Y chromosome. It was enough to see the Y chromosome. So that's on the magazine. Tory Lanez fingerprints did not show up on the magazine at all. As it pertains to the handgun, though, he wasn't included or excluded. So it didn't show that it was definitely him, but it also didn't show that it wasn't him. But it was, again, 4 different DNAs on there, but this time it was enough DNA to show that it was at least 2 men. 2 males that somehow handled that gun at some point in time, but it's a mixture. And he kind of testified that guns oftentimes are passed from person to person, and so that's why you get mixtures of DNA that's on the gun. And essentially the defense came and they had their expert DNA, and he was going in basically saying if someone owns a gun and it's personal and they're handling it and they cock the gun, they do everything, of course, like, will you be able to see their DNA? And he said, yeah, probably, most likely, if you're consistently handling this device, your DNA is going to show up. And so I guess he was trying to put in the minds of the juror that if it was really Tory's, belonged to Tory, then why in the heck didn't his DNA show up, was what I'm sure that they were trying to get the jury to understand. And he also said, and the experts was like, yeah, as long as they don't have any guns, any gloves on or anything like that, that would prevent it from showing up. So then he went on and said, so it could be females. It could be a female's DNA on there. This is the whole Kelsey theory. It could have been a female's DNA on there. He said it could be, but he never said, when prosecutor crossed that defense expert, the expert had to acknowledge basically that it could be a female, but they can't definitively say that it was a female whose DNA was on there. And this is where I think the prosecution messed up. When Kelsey came in, you guys swabbed her for the GSR. Why didn't you take her DNA so that she can, at minimum, be excluded? So the only person they tested was Tory, and it couldn't show that it was his. But what the prosecutor did on their cross was say, which I was like, the prosecutor better do this. The prosecutor better do this. That's how I was sitting there thinking. And they did, is you, just because you have a gun doesn't mean you own it. I think that's very important to get out. Like, nobody said it was his gun. Nobody said he owned it. Nobody said y'all ain't traced no serial numbers. Like, what did y'all do? I think the LAPD really, it's almost like you knew who your shooter was and you didn't try to eliminate nobody else. And that may hurt them in the long run. Because this investigation, like, how do you not swab everybody and try to see if they have DNA? Unless they got something coming. But I know that the person that did the DNA for the LAPD, they said they never received any samples for a Kelsey Harris to test the DNA. Well, Tasha, I think they're trying to put it on. Well, they're trying to put it on Kelsey so that he can not go to jail. I think that's the main reason. But apparently people were saying it was Kelsey on the internet, she said, since all this stuff started. Their theory is that there was some struggle with the gun. That's why they both have gunpowder, residue on their hands. So their theory is that there was a struggle and the gun went off. And so what the defense has basically in their cross established or continued to establish is that Megan and Kelsey were beefing because of Megan backstabbing her, backdooring her, talking to people that she was talking to, all of that. So that's what they were trying to establish, which would give a motive. You don't have to prove motive. Matter of fact, defense ain't got to prove nothing. It's the prosecution's job to defend. But it gives motive. They're trying to put certain scenarios in the mind of the jurors. And so if you want to get off, all you have to do is give reasonable doubt. So if they feel like Kelsey gets on the stand, she's lying. She never was tested, like for the DNA, but she had gunpowder residue. Maybe they'll think that it could possibly be her, which is reasonable doubt. So that's why they're trying to do it. Kelsey emphatically said she didn't do it. Meg said that Kelsey didn't do it. And they beefing. That's the only thing is the fact they're not friends anymore. They have nothing nice to say about each other. They have no incentive for real to even try to stick up for each other. Sorry about that, y'all. It's unstable here. Meg would actually almost have an incentive to say, hey, you did it, if she was that pissed off. Yep, it's all about reasonable doubts. Motive, that's true. Motive does not have to be proven. Cinco's Dope says, no, they both have incentives. I think everybody lying. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, people are so hard. Like, it's very amazing to me because I can see people that are there that they are so pro Meg that they're just like going in and anything to have to do with it. No. Like, one chick was crying in the courtroom when Meg was testifying. Like, it's people, we support Meg t-shirts and all of that. But then you got some people that are so Tory Lanez that they won't even acknowledge the evidence against him. They was trying to tell me. I had a couple of people come tell me, oh, that was dang. Oh, the prosecution jacked up, didn't they? I'm like, no, I don't think they did. But hey, who am I? I'm like, no, I'm just neutral. I'm trying to get all the evidence. The prosecution has yet to rest, and the defense hasn't really started their case. What happened is the defense had one of their witnesses, which was an expert. He was able to testify today because he couldn't come next week. Today was the only day he was available. So they had to take him out of order. Prosecutor, their main lead investigator, couldn't come till Monday. So we know they're not finished. And then apparently they're Justin, which is the bodyguard is the bodyguard of Meg, is supposed to testify as well. That's the text message where Kelsey sent after the shooting and said, help, 911, Tory just shot Meg. That is true. And then people go off on me like, you sound biased. I'm like, no, because I thought the defense did good on Tuesday. No, I heard they did good on Monday. I thought the defense did decent. No, I think the prosecutor did on Tuesday. Wednesday, I thought it was the prosecutor. And I did defense work. I don't even be kicking it with prosecutors or DAs like that. It's so 50-50. We're still in the case. But like my own, I have people that argue with me. I'm like, what you arguing with me for? I don't really care like that. At the end of the day, I'm going to give it to my people so they know what's up over there on the Law Intellect, which you need to subscribe if you haven't done so already, please. And that's that. I'm like, honey, at the end of the day, it's going to be those people in that box. It don't matter what we think. It's those people in that box that make all the difference. It ain't even about the judge because this ain't no bench trial. So whatever them people, you got to convince them. You ain't got to convince me. Thank you. Because I heard that. I'm like, every time I say something that seems like it's pro one way, I'm like, no, this is just the evidence that's been presented. But I do think the defense is poking holes in the story. And that's not to say we all know she got shot. I think that's the only thing we can all agree on. She got shot. She got shot by somebody. But the whole thing is, I think the defense jacked up for real by not the defense. I'm sorry. The prosecutor jacked up by not making sure that DNA was tested. Like, why wouldn't you make sure the DNA was tested? At most, it would have eliminated her. But you're leaving it out on the table that it could have been her. Deshaun says, I still believe Megan that she was victimized. I agree, though. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. There are people who have done things and they've gotten off. And there's also people that's been found guilty and they didn't do it. So, and I've seen both. I mean, I help people that are innocent in prison and done a bunch of years. But then I've also, on the flip side, I know with some people that probably should have, got a couple of days cooling their heels in the county, but they got off. So, no, it's not. You know what happened is at first in Detroit, I was fighting a cold. Then I was feeling like better. And then I get here and it's freezing. I didn't bring no coat. I didn't bring anything. I'm like, it's LA. What I need a coat for? I had a hoodie. That was it. And it was cold. Today is the first day that it was actually pretty warm. And I've been on a couple platforms and I've had a couple of interviews or whatever. And it just took my little throat away. Everybody, like my son called, I was like, you look real tired. You do this for a living. How this tiring you out? I'm like, honey, between this 3 hours and sitting there wanting to jump, I think it's easier for me to be a part of the trial because then it don't bother me when they don't do what they supposed to be doing as attorneys. Oh, you here in Cali? You here in Cali, Ray Bishop? Yes, it's been cold. Tasha said she buy. Hey, that's fine. And people keep trying to bring up, like somebody tried to convince me that her personal life, we know what that is, or who she messed with, and they caught her pass around and all of that matter. I don't think it matters. She got shot. She's still a victim. That's just like people not believing that people that are streetwalkers or engage in prostitution or whatever you want to call it, that if they get raped and beat up, then they deserve it. Like, no, that's no. If you're a victim, you're a victim. I don't take that away from people. Oh, we got snow. Oh no, because I'm supposed to come back tomorrow. But I'm having breakfast by the beach in the morning. I was like, it's really gonna be cold by the beach here. But it was pretty decent today, but it was cold all week. I was like, this is freezing. And then the courts, they like kick you. This trial in Detroit would have lasted 4 days. Like they start at 8:30 and we go till 5. Of course, you have a lunch from 12 to like 1 or 1:30. Here, they don't start till 10:30. Like he does his docket all morning. Then he starts at 10:30. Then he take a break at noon for lunch. So what's that? 10:30, an hour and a half you get in the morning. That's it. Then you come back at 1:30. It may not start at time, but let's just assume it start on time. So then you start at 1:30, and then he take another break at 3 o'clock. So that's an hour and a half. Then you come back at 3 o'clock, and then the court ends at 4 o'clock. So you get 1 hour. So they are doing like what, one and a half, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 hours a day. We do like 7 hours a day, which makes the difference. So I think this trial is way longer than it should be. You would think somebody, lost their life. That's how long this trial is. Now, when you have those type of cases, like I've had a trial like that lasted almost 3 months. But we did 4 days a week for 3 months. But it was a double, homicide too. But the fact this is taking as long as it is, I'm like, can y'all wrap this thing up? Because I understand why it's so slow. You said courts are trash. Man. Yeah, and then the Harvey Weinstein case is going on right now. I guess they The Harvey Weinstein case, they're deliberating. They just took off for 2 days. They've been deliberating for 9 days. Then it was another case from some actor or something. They had a hung jury. And then I guess Monday, the guy that's accused of um, Nipsey Hussle, Eric Holder, he's going to be there on Monday. So they're like really strict. I saw Gloria Allred. She was there probably getting some guy, some celebrity accused of some type of inappropriate behavior. So like they're very, 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 very strict. That's why I had to get the video and stuff outside, because they're very, very strict on using your cameras and all of that stuff on the inside of the court. You can't take pictures. If you take pictures, they know that you did because they know what their surroundings look like. Yes, the Gloria be on it, don't she? And it was funny because she has a driver though, but like she's older because her daughter does the same thing. Her daughter is one of the people that does these type of let's get these dudes, the Me Too movement thing. And she was coming out. She had her little rollaway bag or whatever coming out. I'm like, this is so hilarious to me. She really down her in this court. Yes, if you would like to donate, that is my Cash App. I also have PayPal, which is PRICE2578 @gmail.com if you would like to donate. Buy your girl a drink tonight because everyone's saying I'm look stressed. So y'all can just go ahead. It's a little bar right here. I'm looking at it right now. Now I ain't really no drinker like that, but I need to get me some tea or something for my throat. Try to get my voice back. You said, let's get these dudes. That's Gloria. She make her whole entire living off of this. So yeah, y'all got any other questions about the trial before we wrap day 5 up? Trying to see if it was any other. I might go upstairs to their little party. They up there gigging. Where did the Cash App go? Let me see if I can find it. There it is. But yeah, y'all got any questions? Because I know stuff came out. People kind of put things out that they think is salacious, but I just think it was a grave mistake for them not to test Kelsey. It gave an opening for the defense. It definitely did. Any predictions based on what you see? Yeah, I think they jacked up because I think they jacked up. The defense job is to create reasonable doubt. But I thought what was interesting though is before the trial started, the defense, they have discussions and stuff off the record before the jury comes in. And they were saying they felt like some type of jury instruction should be given that tells the difference between use immunity. They said Kelsey thought she had transactional immunity. So she thought no matter what she said, I guess she was going to be okay. And she didn't learn until the defense got on there that she only had use immunity and she didn't know the difference. So they felt like, it should be some type of jury instructions on that. Thank you so much for the Cash App, Murray. I appreciate you. But yeah. So, yeah. If they sell the story of Kelsey, do they prosecute her? No, they can't. She got immunity. She got use immunity. They can prosecute her for lying. I don't know. The defense kind of insinuated that she could still be charged today. I'm gonna have to look more into it. Because my understanding was as long as she was truthful, she'll be fine. You know, that's usually what youth immunity is. You gave testimony before, it may, you know, it may incriminate you. She made it seem like, see, my clients have only gotten absolute, well, I haven't really had no snitching clients, so I'll be perfectly honest. But I've had my people snitch on my clients. And most of them usually had absolute immunity, so I've never had to really see like what the implications are. But yeah, so like one of my biggest murder trials that I had, it was 5 defendants, and I represented one of them. So yeah, I'm not sure. Thank you, really, B. I appreciate it. Oh, y'all showing me love. I'm gonna give me a nice little something, something, maybe some Chick-fil-A, something, something, something. Man, I went to go to an In-N-Out. That mug was around the corner. I'm like, is this they special burgers? Because I'm not standing in this line. This is crazy. Tory needs to sue for defamation and get paid. Let's explore that. Because I've heard that before, and apparently there's an attorney that mentioned that or whatnot. First of all, we all know you can bring a lawsuit for anything if you want to. I think we've learned that in some of the people that we've covered and looked at their lawsuits and was like, this was dumb. So, you know, you can bring it anyway. I think if he did it, it would be more of a PR move. And the reason why I say that is defamation, because he is he is a public figure. You have to prove malice. Malice is not I hate you. Malice is I can't stand you. Malice is not you suck. Malice is literally that you entertained in your mind. You seriously entertained that this was not true in your mind. You had some type of belief or something that showed you some that would make you entertain whether this was true, and you said it anyway. Tory probably really, I mean, not Tory, Meg probably really believes he shot her. First of all, she was drunker than a skunk. All of them were. That's the only thing they can agree on is how drunk they were. So if you drunk like that, Meg seems like she really does believe. She's never said Kelsey did it. So yeah, you can try to file a lawsuit and say defamation, but will you be able to prove it? I think from a PR standpoint, the factual basis is shade. They can do a factual basis that is say she knew that it was her friend. She tried to protect her. The jury found her not guilty, blah, 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 blah. I think it would be good from a PR standpoint, but actually prevailing on it, I think would be a little iffy. Just a little iffy. Yep, Lucky Lady 8 said, yep, you have to prove malice and purposely, intentionally said something knowingly false or recklessly as well. And then you're also in California. Remember, we talked about the anti-slap statute, which protects freedom of speech. She comes out and she says that this is her opinion. You can't try to stop her from speaking out. California has one of the more encumbrance type of anti-slap statutes. Every state is different. This is a good place to get sued and defended. I told you, California and New York, and this will probably happen in California. He said, Megan made a lot of statements that are direct, and if it's proven Tory didn't do it, he can sue. So she will blame alcohol during defamation. You accuse me and call it an opinion. No, I don't really get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is Megan has always said to the police when she talked to them that it was Tory. That has come out. Now, what she said to the public in the public opinion, I wasn't following that. I literally went into this case blank-minded and didn't know anything about this case. When I'm telling you the facts, it's as I'm learning these facts. I don't know. So, no, I think they all were drunk. However, Kelsey was very clear on everything that happened. She said she kind of slept off a lot of her drinking. She passed out and woke up and she was clearer. So I'm just saying it would be difficult. Now, oftentimes when you're You can sue, period. I mean, you just can. Because even like for instance, but why can't let's do the flip side. If Tory is found not guilty, why can't Megan sue him for assault? She still has the ability to sue him. Do you guys recall O.J. Simpson here in California by the late great, one of the best attorneys of all times, Johnny Cochran? He was found not guilty, and the family still sued him for a wrongful death, and they won millions of dollars because the bar is different. The bar is different. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the highest standard. You said Meg has also told us damn. Listen, I don't know, y'all. I don't know anything out in these streets. All I know is what I've seen when I was there. So, but I know she said the glass situation occurred, and she said the reason but I mean, she couldn't lie about that very long. Let me tell you why. Because she went to the hospital that day, and the doctors told her it was bullets in her feet. She knew exactly. So if she told the public it was glass, it was because she was protecting Tory, or she was protecting Kelsey, or protecting whoever that she knew did it, right? Because she knew on that day exactly what happened to her because they told her. Because she had to get surgery to get bullet fragments that they could get to out of her foot, even though some of them they couldn't take out. Ray said he never understood how they won because the first of all, OJ wasn't even half participating in that trial, in that case. But aside from that, you remember his deposition testimony and all that stuff they keep bringing out. But aside from that, you still have that right. Like the bar is just lower. Clear and convincing evidence, more probable than not, is different than beyond a reasonable doubt. If you have a doubt, which is what the defense is trying to plant right now, which they're doing a good job planting it. I'm not going to take it from them because the LAPD did a poor piece of a job is what it looked like. Now, I don't want to just say that because the lead investigator has not come on yet. So don't hold me to that comment. But it just sounded like it by the DNA expert saying, no, they never gave me a sample of DNA from Kelsey. So Jack Frost said I got. Listen, I was gonna go home, I'm telling you, and I was like, maybe I should stay 2 or 3 days. I have a deposition that's 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I said I can get up and do it at 6 in the morning because it's 6 here, right? And the court don't start till 10:30. So I'm like, I could really just do my debt from my room. I've been trying to find every way. I said I'm gonna be working hard all weekend because I done neglected all my work, but you said the lead investigator is fired for domestic violence beats on his wife. Oh my. Well, I did hear the defense attorney make the statement of I guess he I guess the lead investigator, the OIC is what we call him, is the officer in charge. I don't know if they call him that in other states, but we call him OIC. He allegedly last night realized that he took some fingerprints or tried to lift some fingerprints and he didn't see any lifting of the fingerprints or something, and that was never disclosed to the defense. And that's one of the issues the defense has had. The prosecution is not turning over all the stuff they have. That is 101. Every piece of evidence you get, you have to give to the other side. You have a continuing obligation to produce your discovery. So, and the defense attorney made the statement of, well, I don't care about this investigator, basically saying he just now got it. I don't trust him. He doesn't seem to be credible. So, yeah, and maybe some truth to what you're saying. They're probably going to hammer him. I'm pretty sure the defense went through his whole background, and he's going to cross him about that. Now, whether domestic violence is relevant, more like trust, dishonesty, truthfulness, crimes like that. If he did money extortion, whatever, I'm pretty sure that'll be let in. But domestic violence, I'm not sure that would even become known in this case. But I'm sure if the defense can use it, they're gonna use it. They're supposed to. That's their job. Yep, that's his name, Ryan Stogner. Y'all fire people for domestic violence allegations here? Because, honey, in Detroit, they have a union. And when they have those type of allegations and worse, they go before their own little internal trial boards and they get to appeal it if they give them a couple of days. Nothing ever happened to him. And they don't like to release their personnel records to the public. Why would the prosecution not bring in the independent witness if they are trying to get to the truth? What independent are you talking about? You may know way more than me. Tell me who you're talking about, and maybe I can answer your question based on what I've been able to gather over the last week. Because my understanding, because I kept saying, why Quan ain't testifying? And I was told that they couldn't find Quan. He was the only person that was there. He was the only one in the car. They said they can't find him. Now, he was supposed to be Tory's bodyguard / friend or whatever he was. He was driving them that night. They can't find him. He done disappeared. They keep talking about an independent witness to women fighting. I heard that as well. I heard that as well. I don't want to say that if an independent witness comes forward, because nobody has rested their case, the prosecution is still going on. If there is an independent witness, I'm gonna definitely talk about it next week when I find out about it. If I'm still here, I definitely talk about it. But from the testimony I've heard this week, I haven't heard about the independent witness. I've heard it on the internet, like a lot of other people, but no, I haven't heard it yet. There's an independent witness that says Kelsey should. Well, apparently, I told you the defense attorney said that yesterday. He said when Kelsey was on the, or whatever day it was, y'all be mixing my days up. But he said when Kelsey was on the stand, that when the defense attorney asked her, did you shoot the gun? Did you shoot Meg? She said no. He said, listen, you got use immunity. You'll be fine. Just tell the truth. Blah, 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 blah. She said, no, I didn't do it. He said, do you know that there's an independent witness that says that you shot the gun? And everybody's like, objection, 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 objection. And the judge sustained it. So we didn't hear nothing else about that. So that went absolutely nowhere. You say Leonard Sexton. Allegedly. You got some 411 on these. Maybe I need to help find them. He also seen the muzzle flash closer to Kelsey. Oh, my. There was a witness that saw them fighting. Yes, I heard that. Oh, you guys are welcome. I enjoy it. But, yeah, this stuff is exhausting. I think towards the end, it was a couple of days like, hey, Pam, you got this? I want you to go ahead and finish this up. I'm about to go eat and go home, and you tell me what the last part is. Because it gets tiring, like sitting in there. So imagine being the attorney that has to pay attention at all times, pay attention and make sure that we hear everything that needs to be heard. That's important. Alice says some people can be vicious when it comes to allegations of DV. They make it harder for real victims. You know what? I think part of the issue too is remember a lot of this stuff. Record labels have been brought up. Allegedly, Tory not wanting to sign the Rock Nation has been brought up. I've recently heard that Kelsey's husband is an executive somebody to Carl Crawford, which we know that Megan is currently in litigation with over her record label. So there's been speculation that the reason why she changed her story It's because she's trying to, get back at her for Carl. So it's so many theories out here, and I'm just looking at none of that I just said has been presented for real. But that's some of the theories that's floating around. You said, why is mainstream media lying, only posting the prosecution side, not the cross-examination? I think you done answered your own question. It's the main media. It's the main media. That's what they do. Another black man. That's why I'm saying victims happen on both sides. I've had people that's been lied on. I try to help them get out of prison. So I'm definitely not pro one side. But do I take people that have been victimized seriously as well? Absolutely. I do. But I'm for the truth. Like, I don't just automatically say, oh, because you a woman is true. And I don't like to say because you a guy, it's true or false either. All right, Annette, you too. Annette, I'm sorry. You're welcome, you too. All right. All right, y'all. Please please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hopefully, I answered all of your questions. But I'm about to go eat my food. They doing the Cupid shuffle right now. So I'm about to leave because it just got lit again upstairs. So I'm about to get off of here. Sasha said, I don't understand why they didn't test everybody. Like, we have 4 prints on the gun and only 1 or 2 people got to. I'm agree. That was definitely a fupa of the LAPD. That was dumb to me. It didn't make any sense. Thank you, Tasha. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. You said the only thing I know for sure is Meg was shot at. That's all we all know. And they was drinking. And don't nobody like each other no more. That's what we know. Those are the facts. And the LAPD was sloppy. That's it. That's all we know. And I wonder if the prosecution knew that Kelsey was gonna flip like she did, if they would have kept this case. If they would have just been like, we not taking this case. Yeah. Thank you so much, Wiley. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. I'm about to jump on off of here so I can eat some food. But I'm going to holler at you guys next time. Y'all have a good weekend. Love you.